I know this is starting off as one of my Legally Blonde references, but it involves the Umansky Group, the agency, real estate group. Kyle Richards' husband, Mauricio Umansky, and his three daughters. Oldest daughter, I know he raised, but I think that was Kyle's child with somebody else. But anyway, three girls. One's in her 30s, one's in her late 20s, I want to say, and one's in her early 20s. And they're so similar, and they're so, you could tell they were all raised in the same house, very similar girls. But the youngest one is paralyzed at times by this anxiety. I mean, she's just like her older sisters, but she's got this huge anxiety issue. And it's so apparent that it's a generational thing as you're watching this. And this article and this book just highlight that. What's the deal with this generation and anxiety?
We'll talk about that when we come back. Amy King live at the KFI 24-hour news.
The hush money trial for President Trump will begin April 15th. The judge just made the ruling in a New York courtroom. Trump's accused of falsifying business records to hide $130,000 a payment made to porn actress Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. LA Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani will be talking publicly for the first time since illegal gambling and theft allegations surfaced involving his now former interpreter. The interpreter accused of receiving more than $4.5 million from the Dodgers superstar to pay off gambling debts. Someone who bought a Powerball ticket in Sun Valley is a millionaire. No one got the jackpot, but a ticket sold at a 7-Eleven in Sun Valley comes close, matching 5 of the 6 winning numbers. That ticket is worth $2.4 million. Your next shot at the big prize is tonight. Powerball jackpot is worth $800 million. Sunny, windy at times, highs in the mid to upper 60s, 50s for the Antelope Valley. This report brought to you by Staples Stores from the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center. Let's go places. Let's go out to Brea. We've got problems continuing on the 57.
Still got our southbound lane shut down for your drive as you make way from Imperial to Overland Boulevard. And the northbound side of the 57 for Imperial, it's going to be the carpool and 2 left lanes are off limits. So southbound side of 57, it's a genuine parking lot for you coming out of Diamond Bar from almost as far back as the 60. And the northbound side of 57 not looking any better for your drivers coming from the 91. Their best alternate is to head a little bit further westbound on the 60 or the 91 to Harbor Boulevard coming up the 91 or Fullerton Road coming out the 60. That'll help take you up and over hill through La Habra and get you to the other side of either the San Gabriel Valley or into Orange County, whichever is going to help you get where you're headed this morning. KFI, this guy helps get you there faster. I like calling you, This
Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Morocco, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring Gain scent beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent maracas smell amazing. You could call them scent maracas, but most noses call them Gain scent beads. Try Gain scent beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino. Your cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
In this week's Marketers Report, Angela Zepeda, CMO Hyundai Motor America, talks about audio storytelling.
People scratch their heads and say, why would you put your brand on a channel that doesn't show the sheet metal? But for us, it's about storytelling. That's driving a lot of brand awareness, but we can also drive a lot of intent.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the influencers, audiences, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com. Fire up. It's time for your TV tip-off.
On Monday the 1st, the 2024 edition of our iHeartRadio Music Awards arrives live from LA. With performers including Green Day, Justin Timberlake, TLC, Lenny Wilson, Casey Clay, and Jelly Roll. Don't miss out. Monday the 1st at 8/7 Central on Fox and streaming on the iHeartRadio app. Also on Monday the 1st, the football drama All-American kicks off its season 6 at 8/7 Central on the CW. Tuesday night the 2nd, George Lopez's sitcom Lopez vs. Lopez returns for a second season with back-to-back episodes starting at 8/7 Central on NBC. Wednesday the 3rd, Jared Padalecki is back on the case in the 4th season of Walker, followed by the stateside debut of the Canadian crime drama Sight Unseen. The pair begins at 8/7 Central on the CW. On Friday the 5th, Julianne Moore and Nicholas Galitzine star in the much-anticipated British historical drama Mary and George, based on the book The King's Assassin, and premiering at 9/8 Central on Starz. Sunday the 7th, Kelsey Ballerini hosts the annual CMT Music Awards, where fans vote on their favorite country videos and TV performances. See it starting at 8/7 Central on CBS. Also on Sunday the 7th, the sci-fi psychological thriller Beacon 23, starring Lena Headey and Stefan James, returns for a second season at 9/8 Central on MGM+. I'm Lex Hohen, and that's your TV tip-off on iHeartRadio.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
There is a murder in Central Ohio that many people still don't want to talk about. The man who committed that crime once sat on death row, but now he's on the run. His name is Lester Eubanks. Lester didn't tunnel out of prison or scale a stone wall. On December morning of 1973, he and a small group of inmates were granted permission to walk outside prison walls. His handcuffs were taken off. He changed into civilian clothing, and he and 3 others were driven to a local mall. They were told they could wander the stores and were asked to return to a designated meeting spot. Hours later, all the inmates came back, except Lester Eubanks, and he hasn't been seen since.
Yeah, folks, man, I got ahead of time. I'm just astounded that this could actually happen.
There were many years when it seemed like no one was even looking for Lester. But recently, his whereabouts have become the focus of the U.S. Marshals Service, the federal agents who track fugitives. The case is testing the Marshals.
Those 9 lines are mine, and we're going to catch up with Lester.
And is being urged on by those hurt most by Lester's crime.
He confessed to the crime, and his time is up.
I'm Sunny Hostin with ABC News. Over the past year, a team from the ABC News investigative unit joined the search for Lester Eubanks. They uncovered new leads, possible sightings, and at every turn found resistance from those who want Lester Eubanks to be forgotten. What they've uncovered is a case that's about more than that. It's about family loyalty, a life on the run, and a first-hand look at how the U.S. Marshals are trying to solve one of the oldest fugitive cases in American history. Now they may be closer than ever. ABC News.
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man?
You have seen this man.
Have you seen this man?
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
There's many different languages that cover ding dong.
The Japanese sounds like this.
Ding dong.
Maybe Italian.
Ding dong.
That's a good one.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
The Tim Conley Jr. Show.
Ding dong.
Ding dong. That's great. Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KFI.
And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Jerry Chan and KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Next hour, story that first fatal mountain lion attack in California in 20 years. Guys were out looking for antler horns? No, antlers.
Antler horns.
And they, I guess, more than they bargained for. But 18-year-old, 21-year-old brothers were out there. The 21-year-old was the one who was killed by this mountain lion.
Sometimes nature fights back, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes nature will sneak up on you.
Sometimes nature shows up on your deck and it has built a nest in your barbecue.
No. Is that what really happened?
Yes.
Oh.
So the nest was discovered in the grill. And
could you imagine if you had opened that thing and a possum was staring at you?
Holy hell. But thought it was like a rat or something that had made this nest, cleared it out, and then in comes the possum looking for its house. Its house is gone.
So
I felt kind of bad.
You did an encampment cleanup.
Yeah.
Well, he was out scoring some drugs, and when he came back,
yeah,
he's high AF. He's just looking for a place to lay his head.
I felt super bad.
Right. Monday's Powerball jackpot, that's today, $800 million. Nobody hit all 6 numbers from Saturday night. Winning ticket worth 2.4 was actually bought at a 7-Eleven in Sun Valley. And then tomorrow's Mega Millions jackpot is up to $1.1 billion. There has not been a Mega Millions jackpot winner since December of last year, the Chevron station in Encino.
Social media and smartphones are killing our children. There's a new book called The Anxious Generation, How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness. And I know that we've talked about this before, and we're going to talk about it in the future, because I think it should still be I think it should be continually talked about, what these things are doing to our mental well-being.
Well, because I think too many people make silly excuses about, well, I want my kids to be I want to be able to keep in contact with my kids, or I want to be able to hear in the event that there's a school shooting. Your kid is more likely to be involved in a car crash on the way to or from school than they are in a school shooting. And the mentality of it, I don't claim superiority on this, because I think one of the greatest mistakes, my wife and I talk about this all the time, one of the greatest mistakes I think we did for our kids, to our kids, was give them smartphones.
I had a girlfriend who has kids in the puberty age, shall we say.
Sure.
And she calls me in last week and says that she had asked one of her son, are there some apps on your phone you don't know if you should have? And he just matter-of-factly names one that is probably the biggest purveyor of skin that you can think of. And I will not give it a name, but the fact that he just said this matter-of-fact, not even that it was a big deal. You know, not even like it should be something he should. Yes. Right. And I said to my husband, if I had kids, they would be living in Nazi Germany. They would have no freedoms. They would have complete order and no privacy, and it would be hell.
Well,
and because I'm terrified of all of the stuff that's available to those young eyes on these things. And what does that do to you long term?
Well, listen, Jonathan Haidt, again, the question from Politico was, how do we know that the rise of smartphones has caused poor mental health among young people as opposed to just being correlated? And he says, well, in addition to the correlational evidence, very consistent, there are longitudinal studies that allow us to infer causality. He says, he and a colleague have been collecting all the studies they can find, where they have a review called Social Media and Mental Health. What we have is 34 studies that suggest a causal effect, 21 studies that show no effect. But here's the thing, the studies that show no effect, they take measurements a day or a week apart. When we look at longitudinal studies that use a month or more, the great majority of those studies do find an effect. As an example, my kids loved to read. They plowed through books. Like my son immediately taught himself to read and loved it. Couldn't get enough of it. Would plow through books in a day or two. And then my daughter saw that as a challenge. She wanted to learn to read, so she did it. And they were voracious readers. I mean, go to the library, stacks of books that would be checked out. And a week later, they were all read, and they need to go back. Enter a smartphone. They both dropped reading like it was a hot potato. They couldn't be bothered to read something.
And those are developing minds. Those are developing brains. You'll notice it with your own fully developed brain, should you have one, that, because I notice it when I pick up a book and I'm reading a book, and then my phone's right next to me, and I'll pick that up, because a news alert will come through, and it's for work, and I start reading that, and then I get distracted by something else, and I'm completely distracted from the book I was reading. Like I'm a child. My brain is fully, or should be fully developed at this stage. And if that's how easy it is for me, how easy is it for the kids whose minds are developing on these smartphones?
I will say this: both of my kids have gone back to reading to a degree because I think they find some solace in it. But still, I mean, just we talked last week about the giant issue.
Side note: my kids are not complete monsters.
Yes, they have tried to rewire themselves a little bit. Jonathan Haidt says TikTok is arguably the worst consumer product ever invented.
Yeah.
No, and throw into that suicide machines, tobacco, all of these things that are bad for us. He's saying this is arguably the worst.
Yes, because it's the companies that are built on addictions, whether it's tobacco, turning to processed food, or what have you. The brightest minds are trying to get you addicted to these apps and these products, and they're succeeding. And then the depression sets in because you're not getting high off of it the way you used to.
Always chasing, what did we call that? Chasing the
dopamine, the high. You gotta find a new high. Go do some cardio. Go get your dopamine that way. It's not boring. Makes you feel good. Get the heart pumping.
Shohei Ohtani will speak a few hours from now. We'll talk about this giant issue surrounding Shohei and his now former interpreter. Let's read the coming on. But I'm not carrying shit.
News without the spear. KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Boeing bigwigs failing. I'm Amy Ching, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun is stepping down.
It comes less than 3 months after a door flood blowout left a gaping hole in an Alaska Airlines Boeing jet mid-flight. Calhoun called the incident a watershed moment for the company, which had already been facing scrutiny for 2 deadly crashes in 2018 and 2019.
ABC's Mike Dubusky says Calhoun will leave Boeing at the end of this year. Board Chairman Larry Kellner is set to resign in May, and Stan Deal, CEO of Boeing Commercial Airplanes, is resigning effective immediately. A man has been shot while driving through the Hyde Park area of Los Angeles. The shooting happened just after 10 last night while the car was headed north on Greenhurst Avenue near Florence. A woman in the car told police she heard gunshots, then realized the guy with her in the car was hurt. She drove him to the hospital. He's in critical condition. A judge in New York has set the trial in former President Trump's hush money case for April 15th. Trump's lawyers had asked to postpone the original date after a last-minute document dump. Prosecutors say only a handful of the documents are relevant to the case. The judge told defense lawyers they should have acted sooner if they didn't have all the records they thought they were entitled to. The hush money case stems from a payment made before and after Stormy Daniels during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. A teenage girl has fatally shot herself with a deputy's gun in City of Industry.
The girl knocked on a sheriff's station lobby door before allegedly lunging for the gun of one of the deputies who answered. LA County Sheriff's Lieutenant Mark Spencer says deputies struggled with the girl who ended up shooting herself last night.
The deputies are okay. It's an afflictive situation for everyone involved.
Girls may need to be connected with a family disturbance call deputies responded to before the shooting. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
A 21-year-old has been killed by a mountain lion in a forest area outside Sacramento. The man's 18-year-old brother was injured in the attack Saturday. Sheriff's officials say the men had gone into the forest to look for deer antlers. They say the younger man was separated from his brother during the attack and suffered traumatic injuries to his face. He's already had several surgeries. The Department of Fish and Wildlife and an El Dorado County trapper shot and killed the mountain lion. 4 men have been charged in Russia in connection with the mass shooting at a concert hall in Moscow where more than 130 people were killed. The men are citizens of Tajikistan. ABC's Derek Dennis says all 4 are charged with terrorism.
All are said to be operatives of the terror group ISIS-K. Analysts say ISIS-K has grown stronger after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021.
Russian President Putin has tried to tie Ukraine to the attack. Beef says it was not involved. Chick-fil-A is reversing its decision not to use antibiotics for its chickens.
Almost a decade ago, Chick-fil-A made a promise of no antibiotics ever in the chickens used in its sandwiches. Now, saying those chickens are too hard to come by, it switched to a less strict standard, one known as no antibiotics important to human medicine.
ABC's Sherry Preston says Chick-fil-A will use antibiotics starting this spring intended for animals to treat sick chickens. The company says it doesn't use fillers, artificial preservatives, or hormones in its chicken. Southland weather from KFI, sunny, a little windy at times, highs in the mid-60s at beaches, upper 60s for Metro LA and Inland Orange County, mid to upper 60s in the valleys and Inland Empire, 50s to about 60 for the Antelope Valley with some gusty winds up to about 50 miles per hour. Mostly sunny again tomorrow, a few clouds rolling through, highs in the 60s to about 70. Then partly cloudy skies through the rest of the week with highs in the 60s to about 70. Rain is expected again late Friday and into the weekend. It's 55 in Brea, 57 Lake Forest, 60 in Marina Del Rey, 53 in Burbank. The KFI Market Report brought to you by Quantum ePay. The Dow is trading down 134 points. The NASDAQ is down 16. S&P 500 is down 10.
Brought to you by Quantum ePay. Merchants who make the switch to Quantum ePay save an average of 53% on payment processing. Call today to see how much you can save. Just dial pound 250 on your cell and say keyword Quantum.
Crash in Linwood slowing you down on the 105.
Really tough in the mess for you guys. Make way westbound, right around Long Beach Boulevard. Cover left lane or take line. That's going to be a rough go for your drive from almost before the 710, affecting your drive 710 southbound as well. From Imperial, patchy delays actually updating the map overall westbound 105 from before Lakewood Boulevard. And seeing a few delays even on the eastbound side of the 105 as you make way toward Long Beach Boulevard. An update on this issue, anything else slowing you down, pound 50 yourself on keyword is KFI traffic back to 57. Been an absolute disaster all morning long through the Brea area, north and southbound. That is definitely still the case. Southbound side, all lanes are shut down from Imperial Highway to Yorba Linda Boulevard. Northbound side of the 57 before your Imperial Highway is where the carpool and two left lanes are off limits. So the northbound 57 is going to be a mess for you coming away from the 91. Also adding some delays on the 91 westbound coming out of the Santa Ana Canyon. On the southbound side of the 57, you'll see delays as you're leaving Pathfinder coming through the Brea Canyon. And you'll definitely want to plan ahead for Harbor Boulevard off the 91 or Fullerton Road off the 60 to go up and over the hill rather as you make way through the hot rod to get to the other side. KFI and this guy helps get you there faster. I'm Nick Polio.
Get Spectrum One and catch the Los Angeles Dodgers all season. Stream over 140 live LA Dodger games on all of your devices on us. Tons of hits, wins, memorable moments, and more. It's a real home run. Live Dodger games. That's a $149 value now included with Spectrum One. Go to spectrum.com/Dodgers for full details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply. Subject to national exclusivities. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The weirdest part about this is
And then you have that credit union as well.
I gotta stop bringing my bills into work. Is the explanation appeared to be more muddled than it needed to be. This is not the greatest example. I've talked about the Kate Middleton thing. I don't understand people's fascination with it, but it seemed like the royal family had an opportunity to just come out and talk about it, whether it's the public's business or not. They could have solved a lot of problems by just coming out and saying, here's what happened, and this is why we're asking for privacy. Now, the Dodgers, are probably the cleanest in all of this because it doesn't appear that the Dodgers knew anything was going on. Maybe the Angels should be on the hook for some of this blame, for some of the trouble, because how do you have a guy like this? Shohei Ohtani,
the biggest star in baseball,
100 years,
and a crossover star at that. People that don't watch baseball know who he is.
So how does this go on and nobody in the organization know that it's happened? And even if it's not within the organization, the people that are closest to Shohei Ohtani, the people that work with him, his management, his agent, things like that.
Today you're going to hear probably the Dodgers say, we don't even know who this guy was. He lied to us. He lied to you. He lied to Shohei Ohtani. He says he went to Riverside. He did not. He said he worked for the Cubs or whatever. The Red Sox. He did not. So that's probably what we'll hear. It's just weird because when you see footage of Shohei and this guy, they look like close friends.
Yeah.
Not somebody that would be stealing from you.
They first worked together back in 2013 when Mizuhara served as a translator for the Nippon Ham Fighters, which was Ohtani's team with Japan's professional baseball league. And Ohtani joined the Angels in 2018 and asked his buddy to join him. They've become friends. So he joined him as a translator in his rookie season. And if you were a fan of Shohei Ohtani, this guy was in 95% of the pictures that Shohei Ohtani was in, unless he was at bat or something like that, because he was the interpreter and was his right-hand man. They said, according to ESPN, the $4.5 million that was withdrawn from Shohei Ohtani's bank accounts was done via wire transfer, but it's still unclear who initiated those wire transfers. Ohtani's attorneys haven't detailed how they believe this was going on, which of course has fueled the questions about whether or not Shohei may have had more knowledge about it than they were letting on. At least was being implied in some of the reports about it. So again, today Shohei Ohtani is expected to address questions before the game. We know that the Dodgers are hosting the Angels again tonight as part of the three-way series, getting ready for more preseason stuff before they all start the season on Thursday night.
Coming up next, a horrific story out of LA Sheriff's Station in Industry. A girl in her late teens is able to get her hands on a gun and shoot herself. We'll tell you what we know when we return.
Gary and Shannon will continue. Amy King live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
California is number one in unemployment. The jobless rate, 5.3%. Initial data showed California had added 300,000 jobs from September 22 to 23, but revised numbers show the state added just 50,000 jobs in the last year. The UN Security Council has approved a resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire between Israel and Hamas during the holy month of Ramadan. It also calls for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. The U.S. abstained from the vote but did not veto it. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has canceled his delegation's trip to D.C. this week in protest. One of the co-stars of Happy Gilmore says a sequel is in the works. The guy who played Gilmore's rival, Shooter McGavin, in the 1996 movie says he ran into Adam Sandler a couple of weeks ago. Christopher Donald says Sandler showed him a first draft script of Happy Gilmore 2. Sunny, windy at times, highs in the mid-upper 60s, 50s for the Antelope Valley. Still a big mess in Brea on the 57.
Coming and going for the drive north and southbound. So still got issues for you on the northbound side of 57. It is going to be all lanes that are shut down for you as you make your way toward about Overland Boulevard. On the southbound side of the 57, carpool and left lane are shut down. Southbound side of the 57 is going to be a mess for you coming out of Grand Canyon, leaving Pathfinder. Northbound side of the 57 seeing delays for you as you come away from the 91. The easiest alternate that will help get you up and over the hill as you're making it through La Habra, Roland Heights, and around the Fullerton area is off the 91. Hop off at Harbor Boulevard and go northbound, or if you're heading along the 60, hop off at Fullerton Road and head southbound to get to Orange County. KFI and the Sky Hoops get to their faster. I'm Nick Poliokini.
Mr. College Hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here. And you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game, entering $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART.
That's fine. Hey, just a moment. I'll get my phone. Yeah, I'll be there in a moment.
Only bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is a radio ad for Dupixent, Dupilumab, a prescription medicine for people 6 months and up with moderate to severe eczema that is not well controlled with topical prescription therapies. But since this is radio, you can't see the effects of Dupixent. You can't see how it helps you stay ahead of your eczema, or how it helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that could be causing eczema. You can't see how it helps heal your skin from within. But you can see how Dupixent can help you have clearer skin and less itch. Individual results may vary. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Get help right away if you have wheezing, trouble breathing, or swelling of your face, lips, mouth, tongue, and throat. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain, vision changes, or blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. See for yourself. Ask your eczema specialist about Dupixent. Visit Dupixent.com or call 1-844-DUPIXENT.
Come, baby.
Without breaking a sweat? Meet Bartesian, your key to premium cocktails at home. Imagine the ability to instantly create over 60 handcrafted cocktails, from classic whiskey sours to indulgent espresso martinis, with just the push of a button. It's like having a personal mixologist right in your kitchen serving up fresh cocktails. And for a limited time, when you buy your Bartesian, you'll receive a free Classic Collection variety pack.
Bingo, bingo, bongo. Okay, so you will have the opportunity. Do you have
Each capsule is
a
packed with
desktop
top-notch
computer?
juices, bitters, and extracts. And as an HGTV editor's pick,
Excellent.
Bartesian
Do
is
you
the
have
recipe who will make your party peak. Level up
Telegram
your next
desktop
gathering.
downloaded
Order
for
your
it?
sleek Bartesian today for free shipping and a free
Can you?
complimentary cocktails gift. Head to Bartesian.com.
Here's what I want to do before you do it. I have to ask you something. So, well, here's the thing. I wish I could. There is a glitch. Okay, so Telegram is supposed to allow creators and admins to be able to stream within the PG, within the VC, from their computers, using what's called an RTMPT. However, there's a glitch that while Telegram has advertised that creators and admins can do it, only creators can do it. So I tested it last night with my own channel that I created, and it's a really nice system. So what am I trying to do? Basically, there's a way to get a live feed into me whenever you want that's really consistent and clear. And it's, but I need the what's called RTMP feed from the channel, and the other way to get it is through Telegram desktop. But this is something which you're interested in, is just having Rabbi in the PG all the time consistently, which I do my best to do anyway, but this would be passed even from multiple angles and things. You want to download Telegram desktop, and then when you download it, I can walk you through that.
They have hundreds of social casino-style games to choose from, with new games
You're
released
the man,
each week.
Asma.
You can play
How
for
was
free
your day?
anytime, anywhere, and each day brings a new
Excellent.
chance to collect
I'm
daily
gonna light up
So
your
join
PG.
me
I'm
in the
gonna have
fun.
so many
Sign up
cameras
now.
in there. You're gonna be like, oh my god, this is on the, oh, perfect. Wow.
We were up in Santa Monica the other day. We see a
We're gonna make it,
wandering around.
we're gonna make it like
Street on the side.
Rabbi
This is
vision.
the Wi-Fi. I'm
It's gonna be beautiful. Absolutely.
Yes, and she knows that, so she's pointing out.
How are you? You said you're well?
Okay, so you end up doing these
I'm
hops
well,
and these
thank you.
dances
Hey,
because it's
okay, so
constant.
I have to
This is
say
Santa
something.
Monica, live on the
I wasn't involved in this, but last night, I think you were in a TP, and I want you to know that basically, um, Apollo didn't want you to think that he's mad at you by any means, and I hope you're not mad at him. I hope all is good. And the point was made, and he really felt bad. He's like, man, I hope he's not mad at me. And he's like, he, so and I told him, like, I'm sure Asma isn't at all that serious about it, so I wouldn't worry about it. He's like, all right, well, and he even told me, if you see him, please tell him that he's invited back and that we would love to talk to him. And he can talk about sexual stuff as much as he wants in here. It's just, I don't want it, if possible, posted in the chat because I have people who aren't aware of what we're referencing and they might take offense to it and I don't have to sit there and babysit it. But he said, I will absolutely, you can talk about it all you want. I hope he's not mad at me. I just wanted to get that point across. So he said, if you would you please communicate that to him? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And I said, he's a really easygoing guy, and I'm sure he was just playing around, and which I'm sure he was. And you know, you made your point, he made his point, and perfect.
Is this a book I did not read?
Yeah, so what's his face? Don Julio Cortez. I just made that name up.
Are you having a stroke?
So if you never use Telegram desktop, it does have some features that Telegram mobile does not have to share those interested. Of course you can do screen share on Telegram mobile, but there are features of screen sharing on Telegram desktop are enhanced. And really the big one is this RTMP feed. So to give you an idea of why these RTMP feeds are important to me, like our what does that stand for?
It stands for like real-time messaging protocol, something like that. I want to make sure I get this right. RTMP. And it's like apparently it's, yeah, it is. It's just older kind of technology, but
I use it and it's amazing. Oh, you downloaded it. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm looking at your screen. Just one moment. Okay, wonderful. In the Bitcoin app vision, in the upper right corner, you're gonna see. Let's see here.
Lunges into the lobby,
I see
reaches
the
for a
join.
deputy's holstered firearm,
Okay.
takes possession of it, shoots and kills herself.
Let's see here.
This is
We're looking for a button. Keep going to the right below the join button.
This was a hard one
Is
to
there
even
another button
fathom
below the
yesterday
join button,
when
upper
the
right corner?
alert started coming
Let me
across.
move the camera to the right
There
a little
were
bit.
helicopter shots, and then you could see a pretty
Oh,
gruesome scene through the windows.
No, you don't. Okay, so here's the kind of button that I'm looking for, and if you don't see it, that's okay. We'll figure it out. In mine, it looks like
No people in the lobby at the time of the shooting. None of the deputies were harmed when the team fired the gun. But how does this happen?
Okay.
Investigators said that
There's
this
a
incident
button.
stemmed from a family
You see the
disturbance
call
call.
button,
That,
and then
the
there
deputies
is a like little
responded,
chat button.
shortly
Do you see
before
that chat button?
whatever happened. You know, shortly before this girl was able to get in. They haven't elaborated on what that exactly was. As of this morning, they had not
I know
released
it's
her
not that
identity,
weird.
the teenager's
Okay,
identity.
so
I'm surprised. I just pulled up
it's
the
weird that
footage.
you don't have that
I'm
function.
surprised that they
Now,
zoomed in like that.
Yeah, that's what I
The
mean.
hell did you think you were
You're
gonna
of course
see?
using
It was pretty
you're using the creator account. You created this channel, right?
This is just maybe something to keep our eye
All right,
on.
you don't see.
I was
There are a
reading
bunch
the
of buttons
LA
that you don't have up
Times
there.
story about this, and
You don't have.
the
That's
reporter
just for
who
your own
covers
sake, so
the
you know what
sheriff's
it is.
department, the
And
name
again, I
kind of popped
appreciate you
out
doing
at
it
me.
so much. Okay,
And
you've got. You don't
this
have the search.
person
You don't have the
used to, the person who
discussion.
covers the
You
sheriff's
don't
department
have
for the
the.
LA Times
Oh, how
used
do I
to
do this?
work in a very
Can you maybe make it
highly
you
placed
have it in
role
full
for the
screen?
Marshall Project.
Yeah, you have it in
The
full
Marshall
screen.
Project, of course, an
Very
anti-law
interesting.
enforcement organization. The mission is our journalism exposes wrongs, bringing them to the attention of officials who can take action. We give visibility to proposals and critiques from the criminal justice community.
All right,
This
yes, you do.
person
And
that
that still
worked
doesn't show
for
it,
an
right?
anti-law enforcement organization is now employed to cover the
All
sheriff's
right,
department
let
for
me
the
see if
LA
it shows up
Times.
on mine
And let's see
when I go
conflict here.
to Bitcoin Ask Vision
Well, at the very least, it's
in
going to
my
raise the questions
from my
about
PC
what sort of
because
neutrality they would have
of
in
all
making
the
stories about
I mean,
things or
that has already
Bitcoin
been
or
in
for
question, but
Telegram
now
that
it's
have all
just
the
being
features.
blatant.
This is just an
Blatantly
interesting one that
tilted.
they advertise.
We will talk
That
about
isn't
our outline attack coming
necessarily
up a little bit later.
that
And this
isn't
road
necessarily
rage has had a lot of
working
attachy things.
Bitcoin
So
Ask
how about
Vision.
this? Let's cleanse our palate with some breakfast burritos, shall we? Our breakfast burrito bracket is
I
up.
don't
You
know
can
how
go on social media
okay,
at
here we
Gary
go.
Shannon
So
4%,
interesting.
etc.
I have it.
And find the link there. But also
Very,
you can
very
go to the
interesting.
website, kfiam640.com
Okay, so here's what it looks like.
/breakfast burrito. And vote in our first round. 16 different options. All of them have been nominated by you.
So in the upper right
all of them are
corner,
up for you
I
get to
get
choose between
the
the two.
hang up
So
button,
by the
and
end
then I
of this
get
week, we should have a
like some functions that I just don't.
singular
I don't see that you have these functions. Is that right?
for all of Southern California.
Exactly.
Make no claims we're going to have breakfast burrito.
I think we're going to get a lot of heat from people
We
if
will.
you
We
can,
always will.
because there are
I'm
only
gonna look more in
16,
depth at your
right?
screen.
Let me say that this is for entertainment purposes only, and not for people to lose their flipping
People are
minds.
going to lose their minds
And
when
you
they go
have,
to
yeah,
this
you said
bracket
you have
and
a
they do
PC.
not see
This
their
is
their
wild.
place.
It's wild that the software would offer one user some function.
Right.
Yeah, to
You
allow,
can keep
allow
going
all
here,
that shit.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
You couldn't think of the name of them last.
Oh, hold on. I think I saw it.
I
Or I saw a
couldn't.
similar
But
version
you
of it.
listen to that show?
I
Okay.
listened to part of it.
Whatever screen you were just on with that little menu that opened up,
that T-shirt.
Oh, really?
can you go back to it? I think I saw it in the upper, in the top bar.
I don't want your stinky old shirt.
Not that one.
But my team, LJ's
It was right before you
on
clicked
here,
the
so
screen to hang with the microphone.
All right.
not that I'm saying anybody
Yeah,
else's
that one.
burrito is not
Okay,
as wonderful.
press
They're all
confirm or
wonderful.
whatever.
They all
See in
have
the
a place in
top,
our hearts.
on the bar, there's like 3 buttons, there's edit, and then that, oh, you just missed it there. There's a chat button,
As he was driving through her neighborhood,
chat button,
and a neighbor
that's
told
in
the
the
guy to
top.
slow down. So he
There's,
came out.
yeah, what happens when you click that?
Now, he was cited and released. We'll explain what's going on.
Who hits a 65-year-old woman?
Allow,
Other than
A man with a very small set of genitalia.
good point.
Gary Channel will continue. Deborah Mark is live with the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Boeing CEO and 2 other senior executives are
right.
stepping down because of all the
Not
safety
sure.
issues with
That
the company's
was
planes.
the button.
Boeing has seen ongoing issues since January when a door panel blew out on a Boeing 737 MAX plane flown by Alaska Airlines. CEO Dave Calhoun
there we go.
confirmed
Okay.
he's leaving the
What happens when you click that button?
2024. CEO and president of Boeing Commercial Airplanes, Stan Deal, has retired effective immediately. The chair of the company's board of directors, Larry Kellner, will not stand for re-election at the next shareholders annual meeting. The news is brought to you by Thorson Motor Center. The Dodger Shohei Ohtani is expected to speak about the gambling scandal that led to his interpreter being fired. Major League Baseball has opened a federal investigation into allegations that the interpreter stole millions of dollars from Ohtani to place bets with an alleged bookie.
So
Dodgers
the
manager Dave Roberts
last
said
thing,
things
but we're
it's
gonna
good
try,
that Ohtani has chosen
again,
to speak out.
really appreciate this. It's amazing to me that they don't understand functions. What we want you to do, I'm gonna close, let's see here.
Says he thinks it'll give a little bit
If you
more
can
clarity.
you
Anaheim
jump
has
in
demolished
the,
a fourth seedy motel as part of a long-term plan to
like
revitalize the city's
the weekends lounge,
1.5 miles
because
of beach boulevard.
we wanna close, we're gonna close this, and I'm gonna have you reopen it with that button. So if you can, meet me in the Crypto Weekends lounge, in just a moment, okay? This is the last thing we'll do. I will see you in the Crypto Weekends lounge. Ask them to meet me in the Crypto Weekends lounge, okay?
says it's been a year and more than $500,000 relocating 29 adults and 10 children who were living in 18 motel rooms. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
4 men have been charged in Russia in connection with a mass shooting at a concert hall in Moscow where more than 130 people were killed. The men are citizens of Tajikistan. ABC's Derek Dennis says all 4 are charged with terrorism.
All are said to be operatives of the terror group ISIS-K. Analysts say ISIS-K has grown stronger after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021.
Russian President Putin has tried to tie Ukraine to the attack. Kyiv says it was not involved. Southland weather from KFI. Sunny and windy in some spots. Highs in the low to upper 60s for Metro LA, the beaches, Inland OC, and the IE. 60s to low 70s in the valleys. Mid-50s to around 60 in the high desert. Right now, 57 in La Palma. It's 59 in Irvine. We're going to the 710 in Long Beach.
Got a small brush fire for you right now that's being reported off to the right shoulder on the northbound side, not too far from Anaheim Street, so that's going to be before the 405. And definitely seeing a busy drive-through on the 710 northbound as you come right from the beginning of the freeway. Also want to pop back over to Brea to update you on the mess that's been happening all morning along southbound side of 57 between Imperial and York Boulevard. All southbound lanes do remain shut down due to a big rig wreck. Northbound 57 before Imperial, it's the carpool and 2 left lanes that are still shut down. Northbound side of 57 packed and tight for you leaving Chapman Avenue. Southbound side of 57 getting a little bit better, but still busy for you as you come away from Brea Canyon Road. Plan ahead off the 60 for Fullerton Road heading southbound, or off the 91 Harbor Boulevard heading northbound to head through La Habra to help get you through. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Nicole O'Keefe.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers.
Alrighty, that's fabulous. Okay, the last thing I need you to do is now, in the Bitcoin app vision, there is not a call going on, or there shouldn't be. Let's see, leave this. No, we want to go to Bitcoin Ask Vision. Yeah. There should not be a discussion going on. So you won't see like join. Now it just should have, well, what I want you to do is wherever that screen was that had that little menu that allowed you, that little chat box, wherever that chat box screen was, yeah, perfect. Let me take a look. Perfect. Oh, and the chat box screen is no longer there. Do I understand that correctly? Or the little chat box icon is no longer there, correct? Interesting. Okay. Then close that, and then how do you, if you wanted to start a video chat, what's it look like for you?
And use promo code
Start video chat. Touch that. Let's see what happens. And scroll down. What does it say? Members and can you keep scrolling down and see what it says?
Must be 21 or older. Indiana only.
Oh, there aren't any other options. It just says members of this group will be notified. That's all it says, right? Interesting. Well, I want to tell you this last one. Thank you so much for taking some time with me. And as you see, you don't have the same options that some other people have. That's really unfortunate. I wish this software, it should be all standardized, but apparently it is not. So what I was trying to do with you, I'm unable to do, but I want you to know that I really appreciate all your time. And again, on behalf of Apollo, we're glad you're back in the 50 Gems Lounge, and I want you to know I'm going to start streaming right now in the Bitcoin Ask Vision as I have been, and thank you again for all your help. Oh, great, I can show you. Yeah, I'll send you a link. I've got it working. I got it working right now on one of my streams. And I was really trying to do it in all of them. So if you want to know what it looks like, and here's the thing, the video quality is so smooth that it was like, man, this would be really nice to have in all the streams. Okay, so we are going to invite person.
All the good stuff. Yeah. Camps keeps you on top of pop culture.
Taylor Swift's influence
on the music industry continues as
Morgan
Wallen is following her
all
lead.
the invite and share links are always there when I don't need them, and then when I do need them,
Earlier albums, his former
they're not
record
there.
label owns
Okay,
recordings and is
oh,
releasing them
okay,
without his
okay.
consent. The
Link
singer
out to the
signed to the label
keyboard,
nearly a decade ago and
and
says
then
that at age 21, he didn't
we're
fully
gonna go
understand the
to
ramifications of the
Bitcoin,
contract. Writing on social
and
media
we
in
should
March,
be going
back in
to
2014, I went to Florida to try my hand at making original music and songwriting for the first time.
not
This
the
led to a recording deal
because I don't
with
want
an
to get
investor
banned,
and an
but
office
I think
management
you
deal
and I
that I
have
deeply
just
regret. We
a
made 13
discussion.
songs.
Okay,
Some were okay,
as
some were
much,
terrible as I
I'm
was
sending
learning
it
how
to
to
you,
write in general
and you
figuring
should
it all
have it
out.
in your
For months,
inbox
I've been exploring
in the
every
next
avenue
5
possible to
seconds.
acquire the rights to the soul music
And then
and
if you want, you
promoting
can
my
take a look at
catalog
that
of
one and
just
see what it
songs
looks
I
like.
choose to
It's
release on
really
eBay.
silky
I
smooth
want you to
video
know
though,
this is not
and
new
I
music.
don't
I
have to
don't want to see
use
this happen to
a
anyone else.
like one
And that's what's poppin'.
particular
I'm Camps on iHeartRadio.
Telegram account. It seems
This
like
is
it's
the
just like
iHeartRadio Sports
if you
Report.
have this key, whenever the camera comes on, it shows your camera in the Telegram, which is really cool. That's what I want.
James Madison 93-55. Marquette beat
So
Colorado
I don't know if you're
81-77. Clemson edged Baylor
cool.
72-64.
Not,
Alabama topped Grand Canyon 72-61. UConn moved
I
on
don't know.
with a
You're here.
75-58
Two
win
viewers.
over
I
Northwestern.
imagine
San
you are.
Diego State
I don't know if
won
you can hear. Let me see if
over
I can jump on it.
85-57. The rest of the Sweet 16 includes Houston, Illinois, Iowa State, NC State, North Carolina, Purdue, Gonzaga, Creighton, Tennessee, and Arizona. The Sweet 16 starts up Thursday with the first game, Clemson, Arizona, at 7:09 p.m. Eastern on CBS. And in baseball, with the season starting for the rest of the league Thursday, Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani is expected to address the media today for the first time since the illegal gambling and theft allegations involving his interpreter emerged during the team's trip to South Korea. I'm Andy West with your iHeartRadio Sports Report.
Need more? Open the free iHeartRadio app for the best sports stations in the country and the most sports podcasts with the biggest personalities in the game on demand.
KFI is in your ear and on your screen. Follow us now at KFI AM 640.
Jerry and Shannon, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
There's an interactive exhibit opening Wednesday at the National World War II Museum that's using artificial intelligence to let visitors hold virtual conversations with images of veterans, including a Medal of Honor winner who died in 2022. Called Voices from the Front, it enables visitors to ask questions of war-era home front heroes, supporters of the U.S. war effort, including a military nurse, an aircraft factory worker, a dancer who performed at USO shows. Olin Pickens, a 102-year-old war veteran featured in the projects, got a chance Wednesday to chat with his video-recorded twin at the museum. It's bizarre.
Goodness.
It's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. Soon I will be AI. I will not be here.
Oh. I don't know how to react to that.
I mean, you can still hear my voice and all the things.
You can adjust it that way, right?
No. Well, I guess you could just turn it off.
Can you see my video question?
It still works. A couple of rulings today for former President Trump and his legal cases. A judge scheduled an April 15th date for the hush money case. The judge made a ruling today and earlier scolded the president's lawyers who was weighing when to reschedule the trial after last-minute document dump caused the postponement of the original date. He suggested, he bristled at what he suggested were baseless defense claims of prosecutorial misconduct. And then an appeals court has agreed to hold off collection of more than $454 million.
It is cool, period.
if
I don't think we can
he puts
interact
up
in it though,
175
which is
million
not cool,
within
period.
10 days. That's the rule.
It is cool, period. I don't think that we can interact in it though, which is not cool, period. Thank you so much for your
Time in
help,
the
period.
sunshine over the weekend. We're still dying in here.
I stocked up on more ivermectin over the weekend. I just haven't really started to cycle through it.
Yeah. There is an estimated 1.1 billion Mega Millions prize and an estimated 800 million Powerball jackpot. It's the first time two nearly national lottery games have grown so large at the same time. Months without a big winner. So
You still have not bought a ticket.
no. I've told you what will happen to me if I win this thing. I'll end up in a gutter with a needle out of my arm.
You got a translator stealing money from you left and right, and you'll have no idea that it was gone.
Absolutely.
65-year-old woman in Riverside County says that her mental health has deteriorated significantly after she was violently struck in the face by a driver that had stopped, got out of his car, and attacked her. Wendy Hamilton. The confrontation was caught on several home surveillance cameras. Grainy footage, but you can still see what happens. She was outside, apparently, and a neighbor of hers yelled to tell the guy to slow down.
Mikey yelled out, slow down. And the guy put it in park, got out ready to fight.
She was going to go take a picture of his license plate. So she had her camera out, her phone, ready to take a picture.
He saw me, and he came for me, and he was trying to steal my phone. He kept demanding, give me your phone, give me your phone.
Now, he punches her and throws her to the ground. But obviously, the sheriff's deputies were called, and this is the weirdest part about all of this.
I remember standing here with 3 sheriffs not feeling safe because he was standing directly across the street from my home.
The guy lives in the neighborhood, so she's going to see him again. The sheriff's deputies apparently cited the guy for assault and battery and then let him go. Because it's going to be up to Riverside County DA's office as to whether or not to file charges in the case, which I would find it very hard to believe that they weren't going to. But I didn't know you could knock somebody out like that, or lose consciousness, but you can knock somebody down, have the physical evidence to do it, and then cited and released misdemeanor style situation.
Yeah, that's great. You want this guy walking around with us.
Well, that's the other part about it. I mean, regardless of the specific details of this case, if someone's willing to stop their van, get out, and punch a 65-year-old woman to the point that she's knocked to the ground, that's not somebody you want walking
It's
around.
a red flag. They're waving it in your face. You should cut their ear off and feed it to them.
Okay, now you're getting into torture again?
Yep.
I have a lot of anxiety attacks and post-traumatic stress disorder. Absolutely.
How do you not? I don't understand you, especially if you know that the guy is in your neighborhood and probably knows where you live based on where he stopped the van and got out and punched you in the face.
What would you do if you saw that in your neighborhood?
Which part?
If you saw the whole thing, the guy in the van towed him out, punched the woman in the face, what would you do?
I have no idea. What would you want?
Remember when you broke into the car to save that baby?
Yes.
I don't think we tell that story enough. It's a great story. That story should be told once a week.
I get Christmas letters from them.
You do? Oh,
no,
that's...
I do.
Oh.
They have no idea. They don't care.
Well, they're not very good parents.
They were pretty embarrassed.
Well, yeah, they locked their baby in the car.
On a day.
Dumbasses. And you had to come out in your adult theater outfit and rescue that baby.
Well,
imagine the shock in the baby's eyes when here you are in your adult theater outfit.
Rescued me.
Yeah.
Adult theater outfit. It's not an outfit.
Do you have any adult theater productions coming up?
It got canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Problems with the rights. You have to pay for the rights to get the play.
What was it?
It's an old play called You Can't Take It With You by Moss Hart and George Kaufman.
Sounds uplifting.
Set in the 30s. It's a very funny show.
Oh, is it? Oh. Not about death.
No, not really.
Great story.
Any more about the show that I'm not going to do?
Is there anything else on the horizon?
I don't know.
Well, we should find out.
I need to get a dog first. I need my priorities now.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go. Mountain lion attack when we come back.
See better. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Former President Trump's hush money trial in New York will start April 15th. A appeals court in New York has agreed to hold off collection of Trump's more than $454 million civil fraud judgment. The United Nations Security Council has demanded a ceasefire in Gaza during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some areas, high 60s to low 70s. This report brought to you by the San Diego Zoo Safari Park from the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center. Let's go places. We're going to the 105 in Linwood.
So there's a crash that had the carpool and left lane shut down for a good amount of time now. Allegedly, according to Freeway Service Patrol and CHP, this is that Long Beach Boulevard getting that onto the right shoulder, but really left its mark and be a mess for your driver on the westbound side of the 105 before the 710. You're definitely seeing some delays on the eastbound side of 710. Looking loose lane for you from Wilmington Avenue as you make your way back toward the 710. Continuing to see major issues for you along the 57 as you make your way through the Brea area. Going to be an ongoing problem for you that has all lanes shut down on this 57 southbound for Imperial to Yorba Linda Boulevard. All those lanes are shut down due to a wreck involving a big rig that went through the center divider. So the northbound side of 57 before Imperial, it's a carpool and two left lanes shut down. The drive is improving, but still a mess. Northbound on 57 seeing delays from before Chapman Avenue out of Placentia. Southbound side of 57 is a rough go for your drive from out of Brea Canyon, leaving Brea Canyon Road. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Macaulay O'Keefe.
Name something that's not boring.
Laundry? Computer solitaire, huh?
Oh, sorry, we were looking for Chum. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
This week's Marketers Report, we learn about the value of local influencers in uncertain times. From Allison Griffin, Head of Marketing at State Farm.
The economy is tough for everyone, and taking a step back and understanding the pain that your customers are currently going through because of a tough environment is really important. We have 19,000 agents across the country, and they understand what's going on in those very unique communities. iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, connected, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel but at a national.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hoo, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I feel like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. ChumbaCasino.com. Choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new races weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives you access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
Crypto scams. Someone you don't know says, I have a way to get you rich overnight. If it is so foolproof, why do I need to cut you a check or invest in some website? Mo Kelly, it is so damn great. Why do you need my money? Live 7 to 10 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Gary and Shannon. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Donald Trump says he will pay cash to secure a bond now that an appeals court lowered the amount as he appeals his New York civil fraud trial. Court lowered the bond from $454 million to $175 million today, gave him 10 days to make the payment. Trump has maintained he is the victim of a corrupt judge and attorney general he calls a thug. The ruling means Attorney General Leticia James cannot yet begin collecting on that judgment.
In the wake of the deadly terrorist attack on that concert hall in Moscow Friday night, France has raised its terror alert warning to its highest level. Prime Minister said their alert system has 3 levels. The highest is activated in the wake of an attack.